Text is a very important part of a drawing. It helps us label things, it helps us display information such as notes, dimensions, various callouts. On the home screen, we have a small section devoted to annotation, also known as text. That's one part of annotation is the text. Other parts are dimensions, leaders, and tables. So we'll be focusing on text right now. So we'll go over to annotation. In this menu, you can see under the text, there are a couple ways you can enter text. One is multi-line text, acts as kind of a small mini word processor, and single line text. They both have their use. If I was to write a more of a note, absolutely you'd want to use multi-line text. The single line text helps in when you're labeling maybe a small item, but they have uses. They all use the same method of determining what type of text to enter. Just like in a word processor, we control the appearance of our text by styles. And in here, to really look at what the style is, we want to enter what we call the text style manager. And you can click on here to enter that, or from the home screen, you can go under annotation and you can click this button to enter the text style manager. The current style that is selected right now is standard. You can click on this down arrow and you can see all the other styles that are being created. So there are 5 styles right now created for this particular drawing. You'll note that this one is a little unique. It's called annotative, and we'll go over that later, but basically what that means is that its size is dictated by the viewport scale. Okay, these are all set where we specify an actual text height. Okay, but we'll ignore that for now, and we're going to go into the text style manager, clicking here. So the menu that you'll get for the text style manager looks like this. So it's broken up into one area here where you're selecting which styles you want to modify. So we'll just stick with standard, and you can create different styles over here by clicking them and add as many styles as you want. The first thing you'll note is you want to select a font for it. Okay, these are true text styles that you see here with the TT. You'll see those. They have as many of them as you could think of. Okay, but we'll stick with simplex, and the reason is it does allow you to change the text orientation. Here are some effects for that text if you ever want to do anything like that. You can also, if you select something, say more of an Arial text style that you might be more accustomed to, so just type in R, go to Arial. You lose the vertical capability, but you can still do backwards and upside down and so forth. You also note you can do bold, italicized, regular. You can change the height or specify the height, so we'll just do 1 for now. So it is 1 unit high when in a drawing, so I have decimal as my unit, so it'll display it as 1. Width factor can change, so 2, you can see it's automatically displayed here, so I'll just put it as 1. Bleak angle can be changed here, 15, we'll keep that as 0, and we'll go ahead and set that current and hit yes and hit close. So now we do have the current text style as standard. So again, we'll hit annotate and we'll come here. There are 2 different ways we can enter text in here. One is single line text and one is multi-line text. They work very differently in the fact that a multi-line text is more like a mini word processor and has a little bit more robust features for editing than the single line text. The single line text, you click, you specify your start point. You can also then hit the rotation. I do 0. And you can then specify and type in the text. Generally, these are the various levels you want, and there it is. So now let's stop here and let's erase this and let's see that again. Okay, so we can use Single line text, we click here, and I specify a point here. I'll do a rotation of 0, and I'll just simply type, and I can hit return, and it will create more than one line. But what happens is hit return twice, and we've exited, and now they're individual entities, very much like if you were to draw a line and each line is individual. So this is kind of the equivalent of a line as opposed to a polyline, which is here. We click on multi-line text, and we actually create a box, and we get more of like a mini editor. Okay, and we have some capabilities up here you didn't have. You have you can change the font here. I can change the size. I can change my justification on the fly here. Bullets, line spacings. I can put in symbols. So it's very robust. Um, okay. And you can put in symbols. And you come in here, click on that, and then some of the more common ones, such as degrees, are there. So there's 9 degrees. And once you're done, you can click outside, and on the box itself, you can change the size of it. So I can grip it and drag it out so it gets more lines. I can increase the size of it, and I can type it. So kind of a mini word processor. So very powerful. And very useful for creating text in drawings. And you can change the size at any point. I can come in here, I can highlight this text, and I can come up here and I can change this size to say 0.2 if I wanted to. Or you can just switch it back to 0.1. So text is very powerful, and you can enter it in either multi-line or single line text.